Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're going to dive into a feeling that, well, a lot of us know it, but it's really hard to put a name on it. It's that feeling of being stuck in the emotional shallow end of a relationship. I mean, have you ever been there in a friendship, maybe a relationship, where you just feel like something's missing? You talk, you hang out, but you just can't shake this feeling that you're never really getting past the surface. Well, that feeling has a name, and we're going to explore it. So, what we're really getting at here is this idea of emotional depth. And honestly, the metaphor is just perfect, right? Some connections are like the shallow end of the pool. It's safe, it's easy, but you can't really swim there. Deep connections, though, that's where the genuine, meaningful stuff happens. And as you can see, it's all built on these three pillars: vulnerability, empathy, and a real, genuine interest in each other. All right, so how can you actually tell if you're stuck in that emotional shallow water? Let's break down the first hidden sign. Conversations that feel like they're just treading water, They never really go anywhere important. Yeah, this quote, I'm guessing this sounds pretty familiar to a lot of you. It's that friend or partner where the conversation topics are always the same: the weather, what happened at the office, or what other people are up to. There's just no substance, no real depth. The thing to look for here is the pattern. Are the conversations always stuck on these safe topics? And when you try to share something a little more personal, what happens? Do they just kind of brush it off? Or even worse, completely change the subject? That kind of deflection, that's a huge signal you're dealing with surface level chatter. Okay, let's move on to our second sign because this really builds on that first one. This is all about what happens when you try to push past the small talk and bring some real, authentic emotion into the conversation. This is a pretty blunt statement, I know, but it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's that moment of discomfort you can feel when you share something vulnerable, and you can almost see them looking for the nearest exit. And this is what that avoidance feels like in practice. They might hit you with a, "Oh, you're overreacting," or just suddenly pivot to something totally random. This complete lack of empathy can leave you feeling incredibly unheard and alone, even when you're technically with someone. Okay, our third and final sign is all about balance, or more accurately, the lack of it. A deep connection has to have some give and take, but a shallow one, it often feels like a one-way street where you're just there for their ride. It really is as simple as that. Every story, every problem, every little success, somehow it always circles back to them. You stop feeling like a participant in a conversation and start feeling more like, I don't know, like you're just the audience for their one-person show. And that is a huge sign of an imbalanced connection. I mean, really think about it. When was the last time they asked you a real meaningful question about your life and then actually stuck around to listen to the answer? If they rarely show any curiosity about your world, that's a major red flag that the connection is fundamentally out of balance. Okay, so let's just pull this all together and look at them side by side. Over here, you've got this superficial, dismissive, and self-focused vibe of a shallow connection. And on the other side, you have the vulnerable, empathetic, and mutually curious dynamic of a deep one. Seeing it laid out like this makes the difference, well, crystal clear. All right, so we've identified all the signs. Now what? What do we actually do with this information? Because the goal isn't just to spot the shallow water, it's about learning how to find the deep end. And listen, this is really, really important. This is not about judging people or slapping a shallow label on them. It's about self-awareness. Think of it as a tool for you to help you recognize what you need from your connections to feel truly seen and valued. So these are the keys, right? This is what you're looking for, both in other people and in yourself. You want to seek out people who aren't afraid to be vulnerable. You want to actively practice empathy, really try to understand where someone's coming from, and you want to foster a genuine curiosity about the people in your life. That's how you start building the kind of meaningful connections you deserve. When you boil it all down, this is the core message. It's not about having more friends or more partners. It's about having more meaningful connections. And emotional depth, well, that's the non-negotiable ingredient for that. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. Based on your own life, your own experiences, what does a truly deep and meaningful connection look and feel like to you? Because understanding that for yourself, that's the first step to finding more of it.